Yeah, great. So let's just jump in directly into the demo and go through that. And then I know we'll try to finish the demo in 10-15 minutes. Then we'll take your questions and then we'll talk about how you can get access to this and start using this, right? So
Fab.
are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. So what did we do in 1 week? That is from the time that we have last spoken to now, is set up the platform with KFC context. And this context is derived from publicly available information. I did not come to you because, again, it would have been more nuanced and would have kind of added more cycles. So we kind of started with publicly available information because the AI can easily extract publicly available data and start working on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So step one, what did we do was teach the AI went and learned a little bit about your EVP. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the AI identified that these are some of it understands your career site. It went and understood what your LinkedIn page is. Also, what your brand EVP, as you put it on your career site is, which is original careers, original people. That's what the AI found out. And also went and found some of the brands whom you would be potentially competing with for talent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step, right? Then thereafter, it also went ahead and found out all the EVP themes that you currently talk about or propagate or mention across your content on career sites and everywhere. That is believe in all people, feeding your potential, work as a family. Those are the themes or the foundation or your value pillars. And there is a description of all of these. So how is this useful is that when you want to create a campaign or a piece of content for a specific audience, you might want to dial up on a certain theme or you might want to dial down on a certain theme. It helps you kind of customize the tone and the voice and the language you want to use for that particular target audience, right?
Yeah.
Of course, this is the AI that has learned it. In a normal, when you actually go through detailed onboarding on the paid plan, you have an opportunity to refine this, update this if you already have your EVP, right? The third stage, which we did not configure, is your style guide, because that is an internal piece of information that you will have, right? And we'll come to that later, because when you do get into the paid versions, then you will have, you can tell that, hey, use these words, don't use these words, use a hyphen or capitalize or font. You can talk about what is your style guide in the way you kind of create the content, right? So that right now we have not, the AI has not set that up, because again, style guide is not an information that's available online, right?
Yeah.
So this is step one. That is the AI learned about your EVP and your brand. What did the AI learn next? It learned a little bit more about your target audiences. That is, who are you addressing or who are you targeting across your social media posts and your online on your career site. So it looked at team members, or at least you talk a lot about team members, you talk a lot about managers. And if you go like that, there are profiles of target audiences that you're talking to. This is important because for every target audience, you might want to tune your content and the language and the talking points differently, because the way you talk either in your job description or a post to a manager will be different than how you would to your team member, right?
Yeah.
Then the AI also set up topics of interest. This is for active listening. Last time I spoke to you about how the AI listens to social media conversations, to news feeds, updates happening on your career, on your website, and so that it identifies opportunities for you to engage, right? So the AI identified that these are all the topics that you care about, or it identified these are the topics you care about, whether it is diversity and inclusion or restaurant and franchise conferences, or workplace safety. These are all the various topics that you care about. That helps in us to listen. That is, the AI listens to digital conversations, and it will start giving you an insight, right? So that's the second thing that happened as part of the setup. Now, the third thing is the AI created a default talent marketing calendar for you. And in this talent marketing calendar, it put events. Anand, if you can go to events. Events.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So from your EVP, it was clear that, there are, and the themes, there were certain industry events, that's probably a restaurant and franchise events, or safety events, or diversity and inclusion events. These are some of the events the AI figured you care about, and it created a default talent marketing calendar for you. And the talent marketing calendar is loaded with all those events in a planned state. As you can see, it's the planned state. Some of them are in draft because we were just testing some of the, when you start using an event to start creating content, then it goes into a draft state. But this is planned, which means that you can choose to ignore it, or you can choose to start working on it and generate the content that you want to generate, right? So it has loaded this calendar for the month of February. Then you can go to March, you can go to April, or you can change it into a list view if you are more interested in a list view. But here is your talent marketing calendar. Now you can add events to this calendar on your own if you want it, right? This is what happened in the setup. Three things. The AI learned about your brand. The AI learned about your target audiences and topics of your interest. And the AI set up a default marketing plan for you. Now, what can you do is, from a day-to-day basis, step one, you can get campaign suggestions, because now the AI is listening to these topics. You will get these campaign ideas saying, hey, here is a topic of your interest. This is what do you want to do with that, so that you can find out more details about it, that there is a new partnership that you're launching. So do you want to run any campaign on that? Who is a more suitable target audience for this? And then, you can specify a start date and an end date, and, you can convert that into a campaign. Or you can say, hey, that's good information, but I don't want to really do anything about it. So you can leave it. But here is your source of information that you're getting, saying, here is a topic of interest. Here is a topic of interest. Somebody published a blog on your website. There is a topic of interest for people. All that information is coming up here. So you will never miss a moment to engage if you want it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you have templates. So now you as a leader want to come and create content, right? There are two types of templates we have created for you. One is called a campaign template, another is called a content template. Campaign template is something that you use when you want to create multiple assets for different channels at the same time. And a content template is, let's say you just want to do a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post on a specific topic or a diversity event, then you can use the campaign template. You can search these templates by saying that if there is any crisis communication you want to do, or you want to do a diversity and inclusion, then it tells you what a most suitable template is. Now let's look at a campaign template for a job description if you wanted to. So let's say you wanted to generate a job description, right? What does the campaign template do is, it now already understands your EVP. It understands your brand. It understands your tone. It understands how you have generated job descriptions before, right? So it will use all of that information and say, I want to hire, team members, and then it will go ahead. Let's say you want to start with an existing job description, that it will optimize it for you, or you can create a new job description also if you want it. So here we just started off with some job description that you already have. So what the AI does is, it just optimizes this job description, applying all your brand elements and tone and everything, bring in a certain consistency in the way you do your job description as per your brand values. And it gives you a version of the job description, right? So it will take just a couple of seconds for this to come up. It is learning all the context and generating. So now you have a job description. Now what can you do with this? You might want to generate a different type of a job description that is more about the candidate. So it's more candidate oriented tone, right? It's not, scroll up. Yeah. This is more about the person. So it talks about, are you ready to bring something? It's talking to the candidate. It's not like your cookie cutter short job description that you already have. Now you can play around and change many things in this. So you can refine the job description if you wanted to, or you can, create, we'll do this later, right? Right. Are you ready to bring your unique flavors to KFC? You can start with that if you want, right? You can, you want to create a shorter version, you can choose the word limit here. You can refine it further by saying what are the key themes you want. You want to change it to a different language. You want to change it with a, you want to target a different theme. You can just select those and the AI will now start generating that piece of content with your language preferences, with your content preferences, right? So now once this happened, yeah, so it's generating a new piece of content with your inputs. What you also have is, in the left-hand side, if you see, the AI has already given by default, a LinkedIn post, a Facebook post, an email that you can send out to your candidates all in one go, right? So you click on LinkedIn, you have, now know the job description. So it's giving you a LinkedIn post that you can put that is suitable for this job description, right? It's giving you a Facebook post. It's giving you an email, all at a click of a button, right? So this is an example of a campaign template so that you can run, right? So you can create more and more job assets if you wanted to by using the platform. The second part, which is your marketing job, is to go ahead and create social media content or marketing content for specific themes. So let's go and see that also. So now you have your calendar. If you want to pick an event in the calendar and start working, we can. So we can just pick any event in the calendar. And now you want to choose a suitable template. Okay, I want to generate some kind of an awareness for LinkedIn. What the AI does is it has all the events, event information. You can give in the tone or themes, anything that you want, and you can go ahead and you can generate. If you want to target a certain audience, you can do that, right? If you want to target certain themes, you can do that. But otherwise, you can just go ahead and click generate, and what you have is a piece of content that you can use for your social media post. You can change the presentation format in a different style. You can have a default style, but you can also have an incident action benefit style. You want to change it into something freight tag pyramid, it's a more different type of writing style, you can do that. You want to kind of say problem, agitate, solution style. So basically, it gives you multiple presentation formats of presenting the same piece of content in your brand tone, but in a different style, right? So it's giving you these presentation formats, and you can choose any of one of these presentation formats that you think best fits the content. Now you like the LinkedIn post, but you also want to generate another for another social media platform. So, you can go ahead and you can generate it for Facebook, or you can go ahead and generate it for Twitter for the same piece of content. So now you have a LinkedIn post, you have a Twitter post, both that are ready, right? And so, and then there are, you can now play around with the content. You can start with something, you can end with something, you can refine it. There is powerful tools. You're not kind of giving a prompt to ChatGPT and ChatGPT forgetting. Here it is about enterprise, where you want to really say, hey, can I, Anand will just show you some of the refinements possible in the content. Yeah. Let's come back there. Deep learning. Yeah. So you can refine it. Again, you can start with a catchy and a bold statement That's great. So it generates a catchy and a bold statement to start with. Based on the context, you can use that, and then you can include that in the piece of content that you want to, right? So you can do that if you want it. Or you can do multiple things, right? You can include a call to action, a lot of things, right? Also in the presentation styles, there were multiple options, right? Yes. Yeah. You can make it simpler for a certain audience, like for a 12th grade, for example. If that's what you want to do, then it will go ahead and write it for a 12th grade level. So it improves it takes care of readability, right? You want to give it some kind of a custom query to regenerate, it will go ahead and regenerate that, right? So it is maintaining the context throughout, and you can play around and you can get the piece of content that you want to. As you can see, it's just a few clicks and you get that piece of content. Now it is ready for you to go ahead and publish it. You want to do an email, you want to put it on Slack, you want to put it on Microsoft Teams, you want to put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. All those assets can be generated using just one platform there. So this is what the tool does. Let me now take a pause. That was a very long monologue, but I would like to take a pause and seek your inputs. We have like 6 minutes, so let's spend a few minutes taking your questions and your feedback. Then we will talk about next steps.
Yeah, I find it's really useful to see, and thank you so much for sharing. I think it's really just useful, especially to see like the difference in between, let's say, something like LinkedIn or Twitter, X, whatever it is, and I guess across the different formats. I think the interesting thing for us will be to have a bit of a play around with it and just see, I guess, with our tone of voice and with some of the other pieces that we do. So, for example, we're not going to do a deep learning summit, but something that KFC potentially would do would be something interesting for us to really think through, especially some of the EIB spaces. One question from me, I guess, a lot of the I guess some of these data, some of the cultural dates come from some form of AI in the background. Is that based on, I guess, American calendars, or is it based on a specific space? So, for example, I've noticed that Black History Month in the US is in Feb. In the UK, for example, it's in October. So there's some cultural differences that I guess that would just be useful for us to think through. I'm just gonna grab a cookie whilst you answer.
Yeah. So what we picked is what's called a global diversity and inclusion calendar, but it has a America bias because that's the default. But again, it's something that we are going to set up as part of the onboarding process. So it will be UK specific.
Fantastic. Apologies, I have a bit of a cold, so I'm just working through some of that. No, I find it's really interesting to see. I'd love maybe when we get our hands on it, just have a work through the brand toolkit and how that plays in as well. Just because that's going to give us the most, I guess, specific piece around how our brand shows up, so how the KFC brand shows up, and so that can be more specific.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the things that you pulled from, I guess, our careers website and what that looks like those are all things that we talk about internally and externally as well. So it did reflect what our current reality is as well. So that was just really interesting to see. But yeah, I think I guess the proof is in us just having a look around the tool and just seeing what we really can do and stretch it as much as possible, but also just to give the team the ability to work to plan through the calendar, just to see how that functionality works for them and how that really enables them as well.
Absolutely. That is exactly why we kind of did this setup. So you have some time to play around, right? So one of the things that we want to do is if you can send us the email addresses of people whom you want to give access to, we will set up those accounts. And over the weekend, I'll send you the URL and set up those accounts and send you the user ID and password, which you can use. for the tool, and so you can start trying out the platform for a couple of weeks, right?
Cool. Feel free to use my email, and then if you add Kiri as well,
Yeah.
then those two people, and they're just us two for now. And then what I can do is I can introduce it to the rest of our talent team just to show them that this is something we're looking into, and also give our head of people and culture just the heads up that this is something we're looking at and having a conversation about as well. If that helps.
Yeah, that will be fantastic. I mean, it will go through its own cycles if it gets to procurement stage, so that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our
first
procurement
seeing
team will be fun.
yeah, it's first, if you see value, then of course, then yeah, everything else will fall in its place. The only thing as we would like to get in return is at end of week 1 and week 2, if you could spare 30 minutes, so you can give us feedback. And what that does is it makes the platform better.
Yeah, of course. Like, very happy to give feedback, or and if there's anything specific that you'd like feedback on as well, just let us know, and then we can really test that out as well.
Yeah. So I was thinking if we can put some time in our calendar, end of next week, like Friday on the 1st of March. Do you have any time? I think Kiri doesn't work on Friday, so let's do Thursday, if you're okay. Like sometime like the same time on Thursday, and we can do one on Thursday and we can do one on Thursday following, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm happy to do the morning UK time because I'm aware that it's evening for you over there. So yeah, very happy to do morning UK time if that works better.
So what about an hour earlier than when we started today?
11 works, yes.
11.
Yeah, 11 UK time works, yeah.
So I'll set up something for the 29th and the following week, which is the 7th, just 2 instances. And then that kind of will be the feedback. Then you can finish the test if you would on 7th, we'll take a call if you want a few more days, and we'll talk about how do you want to kind of move forward, right?
Fab. That's really useful. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So I'll send you a meeting invite for 29 and 7th, and then we will over the weekend, I'm going to send across to you access to the tool, to you and Kiri. And then we look forward to see how you enjoy using the tool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Also, we are on